The Secrets of Middle-earth is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit GiveStarQuest.com.
You're listening to The Secrets of Middle-earth, where we discuss the hidden themes and deeper layers found in the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, whether in his writings or in any media derived from them. I'm Patrick Mason, and joining me today are Rob Leonardi. Hey, Rob.
Hey, Patrick.
And Robert Story. Hey, Robert.
Hello there.
And joining us for the first time, Father Bryan Shackett. Hey, Brian.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Just peachy, because today we're going to get some takes on Rings of Power from our new panelist, who did not get to revel in all the fun and friendship and friendship is magic of the Astari that we met along the way. So far, we're 2 seasons into Rings of Power. First season was covered by Thomas and Jeff and another Thomas, if I remember correctly. And season 2 is covered by Thomas, Jeff, and myself. And we have season 3 coming up later this year. That's going to be covered by the slightly expanded group of Secrets of Middle-earth panelists. So we want to get y'all's take on it. But before we do that, introducing Father Bryan Shackett, we'd like to know what your Tolkien background is.
Thank you. Yeah, I've loved to talk about my love of the professor. So my introduction to Tolkien actually came through the movies, ironically enough. When I was a kid, I remember getting the movies. The first thing I remember about it, honestly, was after, it was, I think, New Year's Eve, and I was watching the extended edition of Return of the King, and I remember stopping around midnight to watch the fireworks, then I went back to watching the Return of the King until 2 a.m. And
yeah, the extended cut's 5 hours long, right?
It is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can only watch the extended cuts. What's the point of theatrical, right? But
I like this one.
Yeah. So my love started there, and I remember my first introduction to I started reading the books. My first introduction was actually later to the books, in sense later after I grew up a little bit, and grew to love it. I read Lord of the Rings first, then I went back to read The Hobbit, and just loved the story. And recently, a couple years ago, I started listening to audiobooks, and I listened to the audiobook that's done by Andy Serkis, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. That was going to be my next question, was which one?
Yeah, I've started the Rob Ingalls one, admittedly, which I know is a classic, but just something about the way Andy Serkis speaks about it really drew me into the audiobook that he did, and I loved it. And then I went back to read the Silmarillion, and I may have done the Silmarillion a little odd, admittedly, because I read the Silmarillion, then I stopped after I read the parts, then I went to read when I first read the Silmarillion, went back to read all the great stories in the midst of the story as I was going through the whole thing. And so yeah, I love it. So my love of Tolkien has really grown and developed even to that, beyond that. And I really love going into not only his love, but also his Catholic faith tied to the whole thing, which is one of my great loves of how he approaches the story. And I think there's so much truth that he can relay through this, right? Especially through the myth that he's creating. So my love has really developed from there. So happy to talk about my love of the professor.
Good deal. And of course, today we're talking about perhaps not so much love, but tolerance of some of the works that have been.
Well, derived. Our Lord does we are called to love our enemies, right? So, it's good. So.
Okay, so let's start biting into this apple, this Rings of Power that is on Amazon Prime. So we are, like I said, seasons 1 and 2. We've got season 3 on the horizon. Season 4 is in development. I hope they do go the distance all the way to season 5. Otherwise, while it has left some bad taste in my mouth, it will even worse taste if it's left unfinished.
I need That's a true. Big wave to wash the taste out of my mouth, and I want
it. Nice clean slate, if you will.
Yes. Yeah.
Do we want to do any news?
Do we? So, okay. Yeah. We do have some news items, don't we? All right. So, first news item. there is no update on the Rings of Power trailer. Probably coming at Comic-Con. I know that's shocking, the biggest media convention in the world. But yeah, so we're patiently waiting on that. Expect a coming episode once that's released. Like I said, season 4 is in development. Our wonderful and awesome American Pope Leo has quoted Gandalf in his first encyclical. And I believe we're going to be talking about that in a couple episodes. So I'm going to save the quote and the discussion from here, but it's got to do with AI. So fun times. And Peter Jackson in May announced he's working with the Tolkien estate on possibly adapting stories from the Silmarillion and the Legendarium. So instead of getting us a 3-part, trilogy that happens as a sequel, prequel to The Lord of the Rings, we may actually get something we want.
He's going to bring in one of these characters.
Oh, no question.
Yeah. Gotta happen. Another piece of news, J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit in 1960. So he's asked Tove Jansson to illustrate. The result was a rare Swedish language edition, which has never before been published in English until now. So publishing in the UK on 24th September 2026 and the US on 6 October 2026. And of course, the words are going to be the same. So you're not gonna, translate to Swedish and then back to English, although that would be pretty fun.
I would love to try to read that.
Yeah.
All you need is a Hobbit done Shakespearean.
Yes.
I mean,
I know there's a
Star Wars Shakespearean. Like,
yeah, I've seen that read out loud at Dragon Con. I don't need the Hobbits.
So it's all about the illustrations by Tove Jansson. So
be fairly beautiful to see.
And that, I believe, is all the news we've got. So
we do have the unpublished, the recently unearthed letter. They are auctioning. Oh, yeah. Most of you have seen by the time this reaches our audience, most of them will have seen that they are auctioning off a series of Tolkien's letters. I don't know from where because I didn't look that close. I was too busy screaming. But we do know the picture, or we have the letter. It was written to Miss Jenny Hall, who wrote to Tolkien complimenting his work and asked him a question about the Entwives. And the generally accepted theory since like the 60s was that the moving elm that Sam's cousin sees was an Entwife. But apparently in February of 1966, Tolkien wrote to Dear Jenny, I will not be doing a Tolkien accent this time.
He wrote that?
Yes, absolutely.
It's an odd introduction, but hey,
fascinating letter.
It was a different time, the 60s. Vatican II had just finished. There's a lot of confusion.
It was an odd time.
It wasn't. Thank you very much for your nice letter. I have been in most parts of Wales, but the place names I used are made up from English models are borrowed from books. Though Crickhollow was actually meant to resemble Crickhowell. The walking elms were meant to be Ents, but not Entwives. Gandalf had asked one or two of them to keep a watch on the Shire, but he did not tell anybody about it. With best wishes, yours sincerely, J.R.R. Tolkien. Postscript, and since this was written and not typed, I will do my best to read it. I will fail. As can be gathered from Treebeard's conversations with Merry and Pippin, he knew a lot more about events than they guessed, and knew more about hobbits than he preferred to, I assume, say, but it trails off a little bit. If you would like to see the letter for yourself, I posted it in the Discord, which is your reminder to join the Discord.
Good reminder. The Discord is awesome. All the best things come from the Discord. Okay, so when did he write that? Because my question is, who's unearthing these letters? Like, how are we still finding stuff?
The 28th of February, 1966.
So was it just in a cupboard somewhere?
I believe. Actually, I might be able to. No,
I have a whole giant book of his letters. Like, how did this one get missed?
I mean, his handwriting was not the easiest to deduce, correct? Especially some of the scribbles. So
yeah, that is like.
That letter was mostly typed. The postscript was handwritten.
And the postscript, like, I'm staring at it right now, and it's still kind of difficult to read.
So you're saying even the handwriting translated into the typed text is difficult?
Yes. So, yes, all great authors have terrible handwriting, which is a defense I use against my wife all the time.
I'm just going to let that fly. All right. Okay. Rings of Power, I think that is that what we want to talk about?
Why not?
Sounds sure.
Great. Yeah.
Because Wolverine was the next episode.
Correct. You guys weren't in on you guys weren't in on our discussions about them. So if for those of you who listen to the podcast, you remember, before and after the Silmarillion, we did talk about Rings of Power quite extensively, but you three gentlemen did not get to join us. So I want to give you a chance to, give me your worst, your best, what you thought about it, and everything overall. So is there somebody who wants to go first, or do I roll a dice and pick at random?
Sometimes to know the light, we must touch the darkness is a terrible idea. Oh my God.
Such a bad idea.
Oh, did you guys read any Tolkien ever?
Sometimes we question it, don't we?
To make Mithril, elf and a Balrog hit a tree at the swallow lightning. That's even worse. I was willing to all right, let's see where they're going with this really dumb line, because that sounds like an AI trying to write Tolkien. But when they did the Balrog and the elf thing, I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Like, stop, just stop. Please, no, you're dumb. I hate it. I mean...
Well, I feel like you had some criticism. Just maybe. So that feels like worst. It feels like worst moments.
It's hard to pick a worst moment from season 1 because there's just it's so all over the map. There are several moments where I'm like, okay, like you're getting it, you're getting there, and then somebody says or does something, and I go, no, you're not. Never mind. You lost it again.
There's a lot of misses in season 1. I think there's a lot of misses in season 1, right? And there's almost points where the story is going very, very quick, and you're getting somewhere. Then it just slows to a stop, especially the numerous parts the earlier in season 1, right? And it was a bit of a miss. I generally liked aspects of parts of how they did Elrond at times. I'm going to qualify that with a lot of comments.
Were you an engineering major at some point?
And the visuals are very beautiful. I think the visuals are can be very nice, right?
Yeah. I mean, okay, so like my favorite Numenor storyline is literally happening in the background, like especially in the early parts of season 1. And like you guys covered this, I just want to iterate how much I liked it. Of they're literally taking down like basically icons of the Valar and replacing them with generic imagery of the sea. And like I love that because that's one of those little like, oh no, we know what we're doing, trust us. And then you start talking and I stop trusting you. But like that's the part that drove me nuts, from like little details like that. No attention is called to this. And if I wasn't looking for it, I probably never would have noticed. But like Numenor shows up, I'm like, where's Ulmo? I know he's around here somewhere. This dude better show up. Oh, there. Oh, we're there. Okay. Bold choice, but let's see how it goes. And like that's part of kind of what drove me nuts about it, was that is a really good, thoughtful detail that demonstrates whoever the set designer is, at the very least, That dude knows Tolkien. The costume designer, I would like to actually fist fight because.
Okay, this is a new take. Normally, people don't have umbrage about the costumes, so I don't hear this.
They're not bad.
It's a great way to say it.
A Rondir's Green Man armor is like the single dumbest thing I've ever seen. I have mixed feelings on the Numenor armor until somebody pointed out that in several sequences, it's clearly screen printed T-shirts. And having gone back, I've been like, oh, if you're not a named character, they literally give you a T-shirt that looks like it has armor screen printed on it. And
oh dear!
Like $1 billion an episode. Like, come on now. Did you guys watch the original? Like, how many orcs had actual armor that were on screen for 0.4 seconds? You have a pedigree. Like, no, overall, I think my biggest criticism of Rings of Power is that it looked beautiful, but it's also very generic. Like, yeah, I agree all the elves look like fantasy Romans. I have no idea what's going on with the Numenorian armor. This is my bone to pick as a costumer, as a LARPer, and as a nerd. What are you weirdos wearing? Rondir, the sooner he lost that armor, the happier I was. I was actually very grateful when it just kind of vanished halfway through season 1.
Yeah, okay, you're going to have to remind me, because I do not remember this armor, like, at all.
It's like, it's clearly meant to be, like, made of wood or styled to make, it's leather armor, but it, like, over his chest, it has this giant Celtic Green Man motif, and I'm like, that does not belong here. There's nothing that maps to. If it was a female face, I'd be like, okay, it's like Yavanna. This is a fun little detail. But no, that's a dude. He's got a mustache.
It seems a little random, admittedly.
Yeah, it's just like, why? Why is this here? What elf would wear this? Like, why? And the writers admitted, like, yeah, on season 1, we were basically just doing a generic fantasy series and stamped Tolkien on it. And it shows, which is why I like season 2 more. But these are the problems I have with it, without mentioning the cursed Haladriel name, which is probably the only ship I hate more than Tario.
Haladriel. All right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've been to some dark parts of the internet that I did not want to be in, but I found myself there.
That's not usually a good thing to I'm just going, okay.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I recommend you don't go there. Do not Google that. Do not Google that. It will only pain lies down that road.
Don't go there. Don't go there. Do not go there.
So, Poppy. I mean, we have proto hobbits, right? And they are a thing.
Yep.
The story behind it makes sense.
Sure.
So I'll say that the depiction of the hobbits was at times okay. One of my biggest issues with some of this is that the hobbits were always kind of known to be very, like, not tied to the main events of Middle Earth prior to the events of the Lord of the Rings, right? So it's like this whole thing about, oh, the hobbits were this important part of the whole thing was a kind of an issue I had with the depiction of the hobbits, honestly. But and also the whole kind of fall behind, left behind kind of thing was like, seems a little harsh and intense, honestly. It's like, you fall behind, you die. It's like, oh, okay.
Nobody walks alone until you do.
Until you fall behind and we let you die.
Yeah, it's like the life of the leader is to put you in the back.
This is weirdly harsh for
I know
for anybody, actually. Like,
and I'm pretty sure.
Didn't the orcs hang back to, like, the Uruk-hai hung back to let the orcs catch up? Y'all are literally worse than Uruk-hai.
The cells and my issues with how they're depicted, obviously, you know. One of my overall issues with some of the story, I'll get that part in before we go further, with season 1 at least, is as I said, it seemed like they were kind of all over the place. It seemed like the story didn't have a concrete method, or they had to spread out content because they had only a certain amount of pieces to get. honestly. That was one of my issues overall. Like, oh, we have these like 4 things. We got to spread it out throughout how many episodes we have. And it just but it didn't look like there was as much thought had gone into making that make sense as it could have, obviously. So,
yeah, it seemed like there was a lot of weird time dilation that happened. And, you knew that we needed Mordor to explode at the end of the season, apparently, through a weird sword in a rock, and
water makes volcanoes erupt, right? That's how science works.
Well, that was a little more actually possibly could work than you'd think.
Sure.
The scales were off, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the theory behind it's still possible.
Yeah.
The superheating of the water would cause some kind of explosion ultimately, but
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's totally way more interesting than a dark wizard hates all life and tried to wipe it out.
Yeah. But like even going back to The Stranger, which okay, yeah, yep, pulling that string there.
Yep, here we go.
We have the Dark Blues wizard that is showing up at some point.
He's at the very end of season 1.
Right.
Yeah, he very briefly shows up, like not quite in the stinger, but like basically the stinger.
Right. So you have these 2 wizard figures that are clearly the Rings of Power people want them to be Gandalf and Sauron.
Saruman. Yeah.
And it just, they're really trying to shoehorn it.
Yes.
And like,
Absolutely.
okay, I get, yeah, and we pointed this out when we were going through the Silmarillion too, that, okay, it does say that Gandalf came across the water. Well, a meteor does come across the water, but it just doesn't make sense. And I now the good part of that is I liked how as the stranger got his bearings, you saw his costume change every episode from wild man to more Gandalf like. So, okay, I think in that sense, that's at least one costume that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But the entire Hobbit scenes, they were just like, okay, what is happening here? It's kind of cool to get this backstory and dive into the proto hobbits, and even going to season 2, the different factions of hobbits. But I don't know. It seems like, okay, even through season 2, the entire Hobbit storyline is a completely different part of the Rings of Power.
I think the Hobbit storyline makes a really good single episode. Like this does not need to be a through line. That's like you said it earlier. The Hobbits were not known to be part of like the greater story. That's why Sauron doesn't see them coming.
Right.
So to like have what could potentially be 5 seasons of Hobbit shenanigans, just it just doesn't make any sense. And there's honestly like, I mean, truly no disrespect to the actors. One of the things I will actually like about Rings of Power is every actor is very clearly like doing their level best to bring the Legendarium to life. Like I will defend that daily. The writers I have issues with, but the actors I don't. But like, I'm sorry to these actors, but y'all got like maybe 2 episodes worth of interesting stuff happening, and that's it. Like the Hobbits are just not. They're just not interesting enough. They're neat, and like we all love spending time in the Shire, but y'all don't even have a Shire yet. Coming soon in season 4, I hope.
Well, yeah. So the end of season 4 theoretically should be the Encolabeth. So maybe,
Like I mean, they're playing fast and loose with the timeline, which you know what, it's a TV show like that. That's fine. You're at least trying. And it's really difficult to make a TV show that takes place over literally thousands of years. Like, I understand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If they wanted to do like a lore accurate one, Isildur doesn't show up until like season 5, episode 11. So like, I get it.
Yeah.
But yeah, at some point, these hobbits need to found the Shire and just go away. Like, I'm sorry. I like y'all. Go away. Go build some holes and be cozy. And that's all I need. I just need to know y'all are cozy over here, far away from everything except that one Palantir tower that probably won't be important.
We'll make it important. No, yeah. They very much felt to me like the studio was like, well, we can't have a Lord of the Rings property without hobbits, and we need a Frodo character. So let's make it a girl this time. And, you know, and they'll be with Gandalf too, because why not?
Because Gandalf can't just like hobbits. He can't wander into the Shire one day and be like, oh, I like that. This is neat. No, he has to have grand adventures and form emotional bonds. He's a wizard. He can be weird. Did you read The Hobbit?
I get the point of having Gandalf does keep coming back to the hobbits over and over and over again, and having some sort of deep-seated reason for that, right? Yes, It's weird. It's wonderful. It's quirky, but I can understand why they did it this way, but I agree. They just need to put the hobbits in the Shire and then go off on the Gandalf route. Like, what's happening with Gandalf? I was hoping that was what was going to happen at the end of season 1, but then you got a whole different story with the Harfoots meeting other people. So
one thing I think it does, going off that, is that again, it's trying to explain why does Gandalf react the way he does, and how does Gandalf develop this respect for the life that the hobbits are trying to examine, right? And it's a simple life and away from the heaviness of the world, right? Basically, right? And it's trying to explain that away. And I think one of the unintended side effects of that, right? I'm guessing it's probably not intended, is by trying to explain it too much, you end up kind of negating the purpose of it ultimately, I think, in some capacity, right? You miss the point of why it's so magical for Gandalf, how he recognizes something in these people who the world sees as useless, something good. And I think by trying to explain it way too much, you lose some of the mysticism behind it. And I think that's one of my issues with season 1, at least. So,
right. So how did y'all feel about Elrond and Durin?
I honestly liked, that was my favorite part of season 1 was their friendship, and even going to when Elrond went in and did the rock whacking competition. Like, he could have kept going, but he's using his hobbit or his elf wisdom. His elf wisdom to be like, no, I'm going to let this happen so that our friendship can continue. And
no, go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
The idea of, he knows that, okay, Durin, he's making the deal. He has to walk me out now. And now I can talk to him one-on-one. Like, and then you have Disa coming in. We finally get a female dwarf, which is, I think that's really awesome because they have to be somewhere. I mean, they're not orcs, but apparently orcs have babies too. So,
oh, that's coming. Oh, we will be talking about this.
So, but seeing, and then I think it was a beautiful scene with her singing to the rocks, but that's a little weird.
Yeah.
But I that was probably the scenes of the dwarves and the elves probably my favorite.
I honestly agree with you. I actually really enjoyed one of my love scenes from season 1 was when, like, Durin's mad at Elrond because he hasn't heard, like, was it 40 years or something like that? Yeah. And you do begin to see a certain distinction between how the elves look at the world and look at time compared to how everybody else looks at the world, right? Because for elves, this is the whole reason why the Undying Lands are their home. That's where they belong, because they live life differently. They are intended to be differently. Middle Earth is more where men are really supposed to be because of how our shortness of our lives, right? So I love that explained, like, that issue you kind of had there and how Elrond didn't understand it at first, but Durin did. And I did enjoy that. I thought their connections were very well done. Those scenes I thought were very well acted. Honestly, the actors, as you said, did a great job with everything they were doing, I think. So I really enjoyed that relationship there, honestly. And we were never going to get the dwarven women with beards, obviously. That was never going to happen. That was never going to happen. That was never going to happen.
Yeah. That's good. And I think that's a pretty common highlight in season 1 is the Elrond Durin storyline, because it's one of the better done, well acted, just well written overall. All right, so we have several characters who are part of the Legendarium. Pharazôn, Miriel, Elendil, Isildur. How did y'all feel about their portrayal?
I mean, this is what we came to see, right? Like, when they mentioned Rings of Power, we're all like, so we're getting Numenor. Like, and we got a pretty decent Numenor. Like, it's not how I imagine Numenor, but like, that's why this is Tolkien fan fiction. I can continue to picture Numenor however I want. That being said, like, the Numenor storyline, it just in general is probably like the strongest in the whole frickin' series. This is, we're getting the Game of Thrones-esque politics minus everything I hate about Game of Thrones. Right. We're getting, we're getting like we're getting pictures of like the height of mankind's civilization. We're getting kind of the ominous tones of dread start. Like, this is all the good stuff. This is what I'm here for. I really like Isildur. I like Isildur's dad, who I just keep referring to as real Isildur because I keep forgetting his actual name.
Elendil.
Oh, there we go. Elendil. Like, every time he's on screen, I'm like, nah, that's clearly Isildur. Look at that. That is a champion among men. Oh, right. He needs to take up his father's sword. There's like a whole thing about this. And my wife makes fun of me, which, I have coming. Fair. I actually really like Al Farazon because that dude is just slimy. Like, he's very... Yeah. His first, like, appearance on screen where he gives this really great, nah, guys, trade labor unions are fantastic. Don't worry about the fact that I'm going to sacrifice all of you to Morgoth in, like, 2 years. You guys are super important. I was like, oh, this is glorious. I hate this guy. I hate everything about him. Everything he says is right. He's the worst. I love him. Muriel is great. Really, really fantastic actress. Like, that can't be an easy role to play of like uneasy queen, but also still Numenorian. So like better than everybody except, all the other, well, no, she's a queen. She's still better than all the other Numenorians, but still uncomfortable with her role, but knows there's something off about Al Farazon, but isn't sure what it is. But like, I mean, there's a lot going on with her character, and I feel like
but then they decided to go and make her blind.
Yes, because you have to have the blind seer who sees things, because the irony is you guys suck. I hate you.
Yeah, why can't you rip off Dune like that?
Tropes are great when used correctly. Tropes are bad when you hit me in the face with them. And that's what you're doing. The blind seer who can see the future is such a cliched trope that fantasy has been making fun of it for like 30 years now. So don't do it. I don't know what else to say. Just don't do that.
I mean, doesn't that go back to like the Fates in Greek mythology?
Yeah,
the Norns, I think. But yeah, basically.
Yeah. One of my, I was when I was watching season 2, I was reminded of this, that how much I disliked the character of Ar-Pharazôn, right? And I was like, okay, they're clearly doing a decent job at explaining the sliminess and the evil of this dude, because I really don't like how he's this. I don't really like the character, right? Now it's well acted, and that's consistent with the story of how Numenor fell. So that's a good way of doing it. But yeah, you begin to really kind of hate this guy, and because of where he's leading his people, and you do begin to see, I think more in season 2, some of the desires that he has for, unending life and the undying lands, things like that. The pacing's off, obviously. I think that's a big issue with some of the Numerian stuff. The pacing doesn't seem to match, especially in season 1. But some of that is very well done, especially how he's depicted.
You mean they can't just show up at Helm's Deep? I mean, Mordor. It's definitely not Helm's Deep, you guys. It's totally not.
It's like, how did you guys get here this quickly? Isn't it like a long way?
It's like a 6-month voyage that you guys did in like 3 days.
Yeah,
it's like, wow, you guys are awesome.
So my biggest problem probably with the Rings of Power season 1 is the need for the women power. Like it's sort of like it came out, shortly after you had Endgame, where you had all the women superheroes all together, and you had them have to have a scene together because it's all about women power. And like, women are great in everything, don't get me wrong. But like, this entire season is all about women power. The women have to be everywhere in some sort of line of power. They have to create women, like the sister for Isildur, like
Aaron, yeah.
You had to have Bronwyn that is having a romance with an elf because it can't be a dwarf again. You had and they're almost making
yet it can't be a dwarf yet. We have 3 seasons to go.
We got time.
There's time for that kind of thing.
And they almost even like, it almost seemed like they were trying to ship Elendil and Miriel, like have like some sort of relationship going on there. And it's like, guys, we don't need all of these relationships. We don't need like the warrior princess. We have Xena already. Like, just
she's great. Just do Xena.
Yeah. And one of my issues with that was, especially, I remember like it was I think it's opening scenes of season 1, actually, when you see Galadriel and her team going against, I think, the troll, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And
I remember thinking ice
and all the ice stuff. And I remember thinking all that, like, one of my issues here is like, wow, she is not acting in the scenes as a good commander. Like, I know that's probably a part of the story. That's why they abandoned her. But I was saying that's one of my issues with that. Oh, she's young. She's like thousands of years old at this point.
And where's her husband? Like, she has a husband somewhere.
We haven't seen him yet, obviously. She mentioned,
or whatever the lame excuse she gave that made it sound like he died.
She's also supposed to have her daughter. Already, who marries Elrond, but then they kiss, and okay, sorry.
Yep.
that's season 2, Rob.
Yeah. Jumping ahead in things we didn't like about season 2.
But that was one of my issues, obviously, how Galadriel was depicted. That's a big part of season 1. Season 1, obviously, this little character isn't, and acted well. I'll give it credit for the actress, acted well, but I think the character's written in an unlikable way. That's how it comes across, I think, at times at least. And I think that's a miss, a big miss, obviously, for season 1.
I mean, agree.
I almost I like to phrase it as like the women can't be good. The women have to be better than the men, which makes the show come across as like actually kind of low-key sexist. Like, Disa is great.
Well, that's the whole issue with
Disa
this whole women's power thing.
And so that's what bothers me so much is Disa is like portrayed as being like very calm and level-headed because Durin is a dwarf. He flies off the handle. So like you need the balance of like, no, love, like let me direct your anger at the proper thing, which is the Balrog you woke up because a frickin' leaf fell and somehow that woke him up, but all the mining was fine. See, I properly controlled.
You need a Disa.
I do need. I have a Disa. She's just not in the room right now, but she's probably rolling her eyes as we speak. Like that's kind of what bothered me was you had good like female roles who came across as intelligent, as level-headed, as caring, compassionate. Like Disa was probably one of the most interesting parts of like the whole dwarven storyline.
Yeah, totally.
Even though when they introduced her, my first thought was like, really? Okay, no, you know what? We'll roll. This is going pretty well.
She is honestly like the one female character that I don't have a problem with in this season.
I love her relationship with Durin because like I'm married and they're on screen. I'm like, that's how it works.
With the kids running around.
Oh, absolutely. Like the scene with Elrond having a meal with them and the kids are just going bonkers. And Durin's like, I don't care. They do this crap all the time. It's whatever. Like, it has to meet. Like, I'm like, That is what it's like when friends come over to my house. Of like, no, he's super high energy. He's going to do some kind of flying leap off of something he shouldn't logically be able to climb. Just roll with it. I don't know what to tell you. Have some beer. And then you have Galadriel, who is like the villain of the whole freaking story. Like, she causes every single bad thing that happens apparently in the Silmarillion, and that's bad. I don't even know what to say. Like, you are so insistent on being so like headstrong and better than all the men that the writers kind of sort of made you worse than Sauron. I don't know how to explain to you why that's wrong if you don't understand that you're worse than Sauron is bad. Like, she got better. Like, the writers clearly learned, thankfully. But man, watching her in season 1 is rough because, like, you kind of start getting angry at Galadriel because that's not Galadriel. Like, it's just, that is generic fantasy protagonist number 427, and I really like Xena, but if I want to watch Xena, I'm just going to go back and watch Xena. Last I checked, it's on Netflix. It's great.
I do agree. I really liked the character of Disa. I thought it was portrayed really well. Obviously, the actress acted it very well. And I do like season 1 and season 2 how she offsets Durin, obviously, and Durin's stubbornness, and especially with the whole like thing with Durin's dad in Durin the Third, I think it is, and Durin the Fourth, and everything in season 2. I love Disa's role and all that. I thought she was done very, very well. Which again adds to the whole thing about the Dwarven arc is one of the better, well done ones in the whole thing. I love Galadriel. Galadriel's one of my favorite characters in in Tolkien's Legendarium. I love Galadriel, and it doesn't feel like Galadriel. Obviously, it feels like a very different character. It almost would have made more sense to just write a different character, not have it be Galadriel. Honestly, and that could have maybe been done better.
Or
honestly.
even have Galadriel's daughter do it.
Like, that's a theory I've seen a lot, was like, if you just change her name to Galadriel's daughter, who I'm blanking on right now, it makes a lot more sense. Because, like, we don't know a whole lot about her daughter. Like, there's a lot of room to play around with there.
Coming season 3, name change.
Like, the real Galadriel shows up and is like, you've been telling how many people you're meeting? Let's talk.
That would be amazing.
Your father is going to be very upset when he hears what you've done. And the whole thing's fixed. We all laugh really loudly, but it's fixed.
Yeah, they got the actress from the Lord of the Rings movies who played.
I know she's down for it. She's definitely down for it.
You would do it. That would be amazing. Yeah.
But going back to the elves and the dwarves for a second, I have to say one of my favorite things that I think from season 1 with that is when Durin tricked Gil-galad to giving up his stone dining room, his stone table, because he was claiming it was sacred dwarven rock used for a burial monument, and he shamed the elves for sacrilege.
Oh, no, that was cool.
And then Gil-galad apologizes, sent it home with Durin.
I love the interplay with the elves. Like, my only issue with the whole, like, basically with the dwarves in the series, you need to go bigger with their buildings. Like, Moria, the part we see in the Jackson movies is described as like the 33rd hall of the west wing of the 7th floor. Like, it's Moria and Khazad-dûm need to be like jaw-dropping, whereas the one we got in the TV series is just actually kind of looked like a level from Shadows of Mordor, which is a problem. And Durin cannot argue with his dad. They're the same person. Like, Durin just gets reincarnated. That's why they're all called Durin. Other than that, I like everything about it. Like, I'm actually a big fan of the elf and dwarf, specifically the elves and dwarves arguing storyline, and I like a lot of the dwarven storyline. I'm going to hold my tongue a lot on the elf storyline until I don't have to.
Maybe they're going with the whole, like, Elisha spirit double portion thing. We just got that in the daily readings recently.
Way to bring that in, Rob. That's good. That's good.
Wow, it's almost like this is a Catholic show.
I love Elijah. Let's go with that. I love Elijah. He's great.
And it's, because I don't know about you guys, but I always imagine both Elijah and Elisha as kind of grumpy old men.
Oh, definitely. Are you saying the dude who sicks bears on a pair of kids because they made fun of his bald spot might be a grumpy old guy?
So I'm going to go live off of these crows. And then I'm going to have to wander through the desert out of my own country. Okay, all right. So we do have some other original characters I want to get y'all's take on. We talked a little bit about Irian, which is Isildur's sister. We also have Kemen, the son of Pharazôn.
The Witch King of Angmar, yeah.
You bite your tongue.
He's going to be the mouth of Sauron.
I know Jeff isn't here, so I gotta represent.
I mean, he's probably going to be one of the Nazgul, right?
Oh, he's definitely a Nazgul. The question is which one.
Oh, I'll get you. Yeah. Okay.
I think he's going to be
being the Witch King.
Sauron. I think that's where he's going to land. But
I'd be fine with that. Like, there's enough not said about him to where you can just go nuts in that playground. I don't care.
We also have Arondir and Bronwyn, which we've talked about a little bit, and we have yeah, nobody cares about Theo.
Oh, come on, he's going to be the Oathbreaker King.
Unfortunately, yeah, probably.
Probably, yeah. He's really shaping up to be. Yeah,
that would be interesting.
And then we have the Orc or the Uruk Adar.
Perfect. No notes.
Yeah.
I mean, Adar's great. Like, I loved Adar. It hurt when he died. Like,
that's season 2. Spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
I mean,
I love Adar. He's great. I hope to see him for many more seasons. He's probably my favorite part of season 1. Actually, like he's honestly fascinating. That was one of the moments where I'm like, okay, you guys have like thought about this. This is legitimately interesting. Like, what about all of Melkor's like half-finished experiments? What happened to them? Did some of them get out? Were some of them released? Like, what's going on here? This is interesting. When Halbrand shows up, and not less interesting. Don't care so much about that, but Adar's great. Love Adar. No notes. Perfect.
I do like Adar. I think it was a very well done character. They did it. It was interesting. I didn't throughout season 1. I got a little tired. Who's Sauron? Who's Sauron? Who's Sauron? I got a little tired of that. But going back through the whole thing, looking how they depicted the character, apart from that whole Who's Sauron mess, I do think he was done very well. And I'm not sure that I liked the character of Arondir. I think the character's well done for the most part. And the relationship I don't think made a lot of sense. It was depicted not in it didn't make a lot of sense, but I do think that the character of Arondir was done pretty well. More in season 2, I guess. I can't quite remember how aspects of season 1 went for him, but all in all, I thought the character was done decent. But Adar was done very well. Also,
I just want to point out that Adar is a term that refers to the 12th month of the Hebrew calendar. So it's like he's the very last thing before the corruption, the new year, right? Of the orcs. So I had hopes for him in some sense, and I still do.
They can always come back. At the turn of the tide, I am Adar the White. Unfortunately, coming on season 3 of Rings of Power.
Unfortunately.
I mean, technically, he could be reincarnated, right?
Yeah, he's like probably part elf. Like, this is an option, unfortunately.
Right, so that was
re-embodied, not reincarnated.
So that was one of our big questions at the end of season 2, and I don't really care that we're jumping ahead. And I want to ask you guys' take on it, because was Adar saved? Do you think he was sent to the halls of Mandos, or did he go wherever the orcs go?
I mean, one thing I have with that is, like, even, and please correct me if I'm wrong here, isn't even Tolkien not entirely clear on whether, like, even do the orcs have? He didn't really land on a thought, right? Do the orcs have some remnants of this elven stock, right? And would they have something here? It's not something he even really lands officially on, right? If I'm
right.
correctly.
He basically wanted to not talk about the orcs.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
He beat his head against the orcs for like basically the rest of his life, trying to make them work within Lord of the Rings. And like going through some of his notes and letters and stuff like that, like you can read the frustration. Like everything else is kind of like, well, you know, I'm kind of playing around with this Earendil thing. I'm trying to make him like kind of the messianic archetype. Got like 2 stories about him. There's 7 super important voyages. Not relevant. These freaking orcs. Like everything else is like your standard creative, like, you know, wandering and meandering and things. He speaks with venom about the orcs of like, I don't know how to make these stupid things work. Yeah. Like, theologically, they should be saved, and Aragorn can't kill them en masse, but he needs to kill them en masse because he's Aragorn. Like, these 2 things do not work. I hate it. And I get it.
So, having said that, one of the things I do like, there's a certain ambiguity, obviously, and I think that checks with how Tolkien approaches the whole thing about the orcs. It seems to suggest that he's saved, right? Isn't that what they're going? That's what they're trying to suggest, right? That the ring heals the corruption, right?
Right. When
like,
he has potentially on, he appears as an elf again. He has no longer got his Uruk-ness about him. But when he takes the ring off, he's back. So that's sort of the question. Yeah.
I think the implication. I would suspect that they're trying to suggest that he was saved. I think that's what they're trying to suggest. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of a hard thing, right? Because I don't know. I'm hesitant to say either way, to be honest with you, but it seems like they imply that he's saved. That's how I'll say it.
I don't want to contradict the priest.
I mean, you can. It's fine.
But here we go.
Go for it.
I think I have confidence that he was. Because he's not fully orc. Like, okay, good point. I like the idea, and I'm attempting to give the writers like credit and charity for things they may or may not have thought of like Adar is a great representation of like our own struggle with sin in just a very visible way. Like if the Uruk part of him is like his fallen nature and his intrinsic like need for violence and eating maggoty bread for 3 stinking days and all the like unpleasantness of concupiscence, and the elves are, you know, kind of sort of unfallen, except for all the times they are. Oh, Feanor, you've ruined a lot of stuff, man. I don't know if Adar swore the oath of Feanor. Like, he might be okay. So, like, you have the very extreme versions of, like, the fallen nature, but our nature created in God, like, really battling each other in Adar in a very, very visible way. And I like to think that, like, when he puts on the ring, like, that's basically kind of like a temporary, almost grace of confession-esque thing. So, like, I like to believe that he was saved because he basically went through orc purgatory and was able to go to the halls of Mandos.
And I do think, honestly, going off that's one of the great things about the Adar character, I think, ultimately, right? You do see, looking at his whole arc, you do see this very well depicted about the corruption of this and how that corruption seeps into everything. And going off what you're saying, I can get behind that. I can be wrong. That's okay. That I do think you can see the goodness in if you look the ring tied to the goodness of God in this, if you liken that idea to there, which I'm a little uncomfortable with that idea, but you liken that to the story, I think it does help to think that he can be saved. Again, if he's part elvish at all, he'd go to the halls of Mandos anyway, right? That's the whole point. If he has any elvish blood left in him. If he's truly elvish, right? Wouldn't he go to the Hall of Mandos anyway?
Well, and I think that's what the ring was showing, that there is still something there, right?
I feel the good in him, the conflict. Wait, wrong podcast.
He touched the darkness.
I hate it.
Touch the darkness.
Oh, I hate hate how you made that relevant. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Okay. So the other big question from season 1 is, how long did it take y'all to figure out Halbrand was Sauron?
Oh, goodness.
Right up till the end. It literally wasn't until he said it is a gift where I was like, hold up. What? Say that again?
I'm ashamed to say that it took me a long time too. Honestly, it took me a really long time to figure out, wait a minute, this guy is
There's so many like lame false red herrings. I think at one point I was convinced none of them are Sauron. So my argument is always for a mystery box story like this, the twist only works if you go back knowing who Sauron is, and like, does the rest of it make sense? And no, there's so many dumb, lame, stupid red herring. Like when the stranger, who's definitely not Gandalf, it's Gandalf. Like he landed, I was like, that's either Gandalf or Saruman. I don't care which, but it's one of those two. But it's in the shape of an eye. I don't care. It's Gandalf or Sauron. It's a weird magic dude in gray robes, so it's either Gandalf the Grey or Sauron in need of a dry cleaner. Saruman. I'm not buying that it's Sauron. You're wrong. I think at one point I was convinced that Halbrand was actually a Bjorning, and we were going to get to find out like all that, which would have been way more interesting.
Yeah, it'd been pretty cool.
Yeah. So
I was actually listening to our podcast while watching the episodes weekly, because this was before I read the Silmarillion, and I was trying to like, okay, what is this? What's happening? And doing my whole thing, because this was shortly after I really started getting into the mythos of everything. And so I was, every flipping week on here, they're talking about, oh, we think this person's it. We think this person's it. We think this person's it. And I'm like, you guys are all confusing me now. Like, and so, right up until the end, because I had my own theories on who it was going to be. And I was unpleasantly surprised. But at the same time, then it was like, you know what? I'm glad it was him, because then you can't have what'd you call it? The Haladriel?
Haladriel.
Haladriel, yeah.
Yeah, we got that storyline. Super glad that happened.
Okay. All right. So you guys were all in good company with the rest of the podcast crew. I'm not gonna. I mean, it was like the third thing Halberd said. I'm like, oh, he's Sauron. But yeah.
I remember listening and thinking, no, that can't be Sauron. Well, There's so many more interesting directions for them to go.
I remember as soon as the last episode ended, and I was like, wait a minute. And I had to go back and rewatch the whole season in a weekend and be like, there it is. Like,
just
the entire season.
Like, he just keeps confirming it. And nobody seems to be getting this.
When you know he's Sauron, he says a lot of like, oh, that's Sauron things. But there's so many like, oh, but it could be this guy. Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah.
I'm a little ashamed how long it took me to figure out who was Sauron, admittedly. A little ashamed of that.
Now, season 2, I got it right away.
Yeah, well, so quick.
It's like, oh, Anatar, that's Sauron. I don't know who this goo thing is.
I was going to say
Euron.
I don't know what that is, but Anatar, that's definitely Sauron.
So angry about the goo. What is with that? Oh.
There are questions that don't need to be answered. Like, what happens when his physical body's destroyed? Don't worry about it.
Well, and then at the end of the Silmarillion, he must have turned back into goo and floated across the ocean.
My first reaction was, oh, Venom, cool. Why is it happening? And the one thing we'll get there, I guess, but I had issues with that. So.
No, like we're there. We're season 2.
Yeah, no, let's do it.
Let's break it open.
One thing, I said this to Rob not that long ago, and I stand corrected. Right, my initial issue with with Sauron's depiction in season 2, right, is he's kneeling all the time. It's like Sauron wouldn't kneel. It's like, well, he does do that to a certain extent, especially with the Numenorians to deceive. So, okay, I can get behind some of the later kneelings. But the first kneeling to Adar doesn't make any sense to me, because he's kneeling there to let this orc elf crown him, seemingly. And I don't think he would ever do that. I don't think the character is so believes he's already king. He doesn't need to be crowned by them. Right, that first thing didn't make any sense. Right, maybe I'm wrong in that. I just didn't. His death scene with them just doesn't make any sense to me.
You mean the fact that they had the crown to begin with?
Also that, like, let's be
also true.
Yeah.
And also,
like, he died. Like,
I know. Yeah. And why would he show himself in his fair form to the orcs? That doesn't make a lot of sense. That he would depict himself in a fair form to the orcs. Like, why would he do that? It's
because
he's a deceiver. Yeah, but the whole thing with Morgoth. Don't they like kind of hate the elves? That's the whole point, right? Like the mockery of the elves, like Morgoth and Sauron, right? So that was one of my issues. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Why would he do this? I know it seemed like the first 20 minutes of season 2. I was like, hey, we need to explain how Sauron got to the boat. We need to make sure we make this work.
Don't.
We need to make sure I get there.
This is the one time I will accept somehow Sauron returned. Like, I'll buy it. I don't need these details.
Well, Tolkien does it several times. Like, he doesn't explain it.
And I actually think they're not explaining adds to the mysticism of the whole thing. I think it adds to the detail of the whole thing. Like, hey, we don't know how this happened. It happened somehow. Maybe don't say somehow Sauron returned. Maybe don't say that phrase.
Yeah, don't use that phrase. And definitely don't try to tie Fortnite into your storyline. But, like, there are some things I will take on faith in this show about Tolkien.
But yeah. So there's that.
Okay. All right. So after the first 20 minutes, what was the highs and lows of season 2?
One of my favorite parts of season 2, I'll say this, is I thought I like season 2 better than I like season 1. I thought the depictions were more consistent at times. Not perfect by any means. I really enjoyed the Celebrimbor Anatar stuff. That was, I think, well done. The whole forging the rings of power. The order didn't make any sense, because I thought it would make more sense to have the 3 elven rings after the whole thing. It would make more sense there, but
I mean, like
all in all,
in the books.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like it happened explicitly in the lore. Yeah, that would make more sense.
And I was kind of angry about that season 1. Like, why we don't have any of the rings now? What's with the rings coming to the elves right now? But I wasn't super happy with how the ring magically heals everything it comes into contact with. Like, that's not how the rings are meant to work. But I did like the Celebrimbor stuff. I liked the depiction of how Anatar deceives Celebrimbor. I thought that was done pretty well, admittedly. And maybe I'm wrong. The transformation into Anatar was a little interesting. I'll give him that. That was done, I think, well. The whole thing there. Like referencing the whole Istari stuff and how like the Valar will send messengers and all things like that. It would have been cool for him to try to go to Gil-galad and Elrond and have them say no as it happened, but I get you can't do everything with the amount of time they have. But I really liked the Anatar Celebrimbor stuff. That was really well done, I thought.
That was my favorite part too. That the entire scene, especially of when Celebrimbor figures out that he is in a loop, like, and then even his death scene in calling Anatar the Lord of the Ring, right? Like that was hands down my favorite part of entire season 2. It was really well done. The other stuff with friendship magic and the
real Istari were the friends we made along the way.
I don't think that's true.
And then Adar dies at the end. Like,
one of my things about season 2, I will say, is I'm torn because I don't like him in that part of the show, but I love Tom Bombadil, right? I love the character Tom Bombadil. I love Tom Bombadil.
I look forward to seeing him, actually. I think that would be great.
I love Tom Bombadil. Yeah. But it's like, this doesn't really make sense why he's here. And even the depiction is by no means perfect. One of my things about season 2 was, it seems like, maybe I'm wrong, it seems like, hey, we didn't have enough references to Lord of the Rings properly in season 1. So let's sprinkle all these things that are from Lord of the Rings into this depiction on the Rings of Power. Like the Old Man Willow stuff, Tom Bombadil stuff, Rune, like why are we in Rune, what's going on in Rune, and all that kind of stuff. It's just, it seems like we're going to arbitrarily put this stuff in that doesn't make a lot of sense for the story. But anyway.
Yeah, and I do appreciate, like, you could tell that the writers got the feedback from season 1 that was like, hey, guys, this show sucks. You need to fix these things. And they took it to heart and they fixed a lot of things, but there's still more to fix for season 3.
Yeah.
I do think the pacing was a little better in season 2, not perfect by any means, but it was better than season 1. Again, I love Arondir. I thought Arondir's not really arc, I guess, but I loved it. I think I shouldn't say loved. I liked his character. I thought it was done well. Disa was again really great, as we already talked about. I think she was a great depiction of that. The corruption of the dwarves was interesting. I thought that was like with the rings and all that. That was interesting. I thought. Well done. But I do agree. The Celebrimbor realization scene is raw in its intensity, right? Like there's like oh, this is, you can see the tragedy on his face when he realizes what he's done. Almost how he's become to a certain extent, Fëanor, to a certain extent, right? You can almost see the tragedy in his eyes about that. So,
oh yeah, we heard a thing about that. That's how this happened. And then he somehow binds himself to a ring that gets attached to a ranger in the Third Age, and the whole storyline spirals off from there. How many references to obscure material can I make in this podcast?
A few, at least.
More than I should be allowed to.
Yes.
Well, and then
you're referencing podcasts you're not even on. You're doing better than Jeff do, which is impressive.
I'm not on yet. I will be the Nick Fury of SQPN.
Yeah, good luck with that. Jeff's pretty intense.
Yeah, Jeff has a lead on me. Something I actually want to single out specifically is Anatar's like makeup / costume work. When he first appeared, I was like, wow, that guy really looks like the dude who played Sauron. They did a really good job. Oh, it is the guy. Oh, okay. Wow. That's really good makeup. Like, I thought it was some elf that kind of looked like Charlie Vickers, but no, it's just Charlie Vickers in amazing makeup.
Yeah. Mad props to that department there. That was well done.
There's a lot of things that as a costumer this show makes my eyes roll on, but every so often they do something that just makes me go, wow, that's incredible. And that I will single that out as like one of them. Even on the character poster, I remember thinking, they recast Sauron. That's interesting. Nope, it's just really good makeup. Yeah, I'm kind of with everybody else. The Sauron or the Anatar Celebrimbor storyline really is just top notch. The rest of the elf storyline with the siege of Lindon and all that is a rather significant downgrade because it's taking away from my time in the tower of Sauron just saying, I'm going to just mentally abuse this dude until I get bored and I get what I want. And that's Sauron, like straight up. Season 2, if you didn't watch season 1, don't do it. Just start with season 2. It's like it's kind of like Parks and Rec. Like, just skip over season 1. You'll figure it out from context. Don't worry about it. And just start with season 2. It's a much better storyline. It's a much better starting point. You get the things you wanted to see. And it's eventually Tom Bombadil will show up in more than 5 minutes and sing his dumb little song that I love and hate, which is why he's a great character. I have such mixed feelings on his song, even in Lord of the Rings. I'm like, the second I hear it, I'm like, this weirdo again. But also, yay, this weirdo again. Season 2 is just... Season 1 is very low with some okay highs. Season 2 has much better highs, and the lows are a lot more middling. there are fewer groan-inducing moments. Not none. Fewer.
Yeah,
yeah,
I agree. One of my scenes I thought was interesting is when Celebrimbor's writing the letter to Gil-galad, right, saying how he's going to close the forge and all this, right. And I thought that was interesting because if you apply how the evil one works in reality, how the devil works to corrupt us and all that kind of thing, you can see the corruption of Sauron seeping into him there, right? So he is making a decision to do a very bad thing, thinking it's the good thing to continue his work, whatever it might be. And you can see the corruption happening even earlier than he thinks it's happening, right? And that's kind of how sin works, right? It gives us this seemingly good that turns to ash, and he only later realizes the ash that he's had, and that's again a well done depiction of the beginnings of sin and the beginnings of how it corrupts us, I think.
In the beginning of season 1. Well, in the beginning of season 2.
I still remember a buddy of mine watching the opening flyover where they're like, we'll briefly discuss the Silmarillion, everything we're legally allowed to talk about. And I remember my buddy saying wow, that's a really interesting story. I wonder what it was. And I was like, oh man, have I got a book for you. And it's way more interesting than the 8 episodes we're about to watch.
Yeah. Now, one of the things also that just kind of was confusing for me was the whole rune thing. Like, if we're going to have the Dark Blue Wizard or Saruman or whatever that it's
come on, guys. It's not Saruman. Why would we awkwardly shoehorn a canon character in?
I'm still angry about Gandalf. I gave him.
You mean Grand Elf? You mean Grand Elf,
some
right?
sort of Grand Elf.
You mean Grand Elf, right? You mean Grand Elf?
Yeah, Grand Elf. He's some sort of Grand Elf. It's a fun philology joke, but I still hate you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's up with the witches from Ruin? Like, it was just kind of weird throughout. I guess they're his underlings, but then where do they go?
The ring babes?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they were called, right? Yeah. Something.
Well, they're not the ring wraiths, so...
Yeah, there were a lot of stupid names for them.
because they started off really interesting and it just falls flat, and now I have to mock them because this could have been interesting. I totally would have bought weird culty witches from Rune, but nope, they're just hunting Gandalf for some unknown weird reason because Saruman is jealous already for some reason. I don't know.
He feels like disturbance in the Force.
If Gandalf takes off his hat and says hello there, I will fling something at my TV.
Well, hello there.
Yeah. No, the
what if he takes off his robe?
Oh god, that would be even worse. The Rune storyline could be interesting if they're willing to stop shoehorning stuff into it like that.
Yeah.
Just let it be its own thing, because Tolkien, there's very little out there written about Rune other than in some letters Tolkien says the dark blue or the blue. Now you got me doing it. The blue wizards did more to stop Sauron in this battle than we will ever know. They might have gone evil. I haven't nailed it down yet. So you have this massive playground to go around in, and I swear to cow, if they just awkwardly make it Saruman, you're throwing away so much potential.
Yeah, I mean, it would make more sense because Tolkien didn't land on what happened to the Blue Wizards, right? To have some things where they do some things that end up helping and really stopping some of the rise of Sauron in the East. But then he spoke openly how they may have founded these magic cults and things like that. So you could do so much, and
there's a lot of room for storytelling there, and none of it involves Tom Bombadil or some guy who says he's Tom Bombadil but clearly isn't.
Okay.
It's actually Shelob in the form of...
You know
no,
what
she pops up in season 2, maybe.
She did. Yes, she did.
Was it confirmed Shelob, or was it just like a big spider? I don't remember.
I don't know.
Okay.
But
yeah, I don't think
one character we did forget about is Círdan, who is beard with beard and without beard when he has the ring.
Yes.
Which is weird.
Don't like it. Prefer beard. Like, there's no way you could make an elf in a beard look good. I've tried. So you just need to just lean into it. Just be a weird beard. Like the short, neatly groomed one. Fine, whatever. Like, you could have slapped whatever beard you wanted on that dude, and I would have just been like, yay, Círdan, he's got a beard. This is great. But when you're like, no, I decided to shave. No, you didn't. No, there's like one thing we know about you. You have a beard, and you build boats. Okay, we know 2 things. You have 2 jobs.
And you build boats. And
you have 2 jobs.
You had 3 things. Yeah.
And
you only have one of those for a limited time.
So I like the character I like Tolkien's version of Círdan, obviously. Doesn't Círdan mean shipwright, right? So it's like the shipwright, isn't that? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm making that up. Maybe I might be making that up. My elvish is old.
Was building ships for so long that his name just became synonymous with
guy who builds ships. Yeah. Oh, that's Círdan. What does he do? Círdan.
But one of the issues I had is, like, I get where when Elrond is talking about, the rings bad, right? Rings bad. And the clear indication is that Olmo told him not to get the rings. That's the indicator they're trying to imply when he puts the rings over the boat and tries to throw them in the water. Yeah. But I would have been more happy if he said, no, Olmo has informed us that we shouldn't do this, or imply something like that. Then he says, hey, this is power, right? I'm going to put my hand in the water and look how I can control things. I kind of had an issue with this notion of an elf as wise as Círdan even talking about power in that way and speaking in a positive way, because Tolkien's version of power isn't consistent with that. And I think that's an issue. Like, I don't think Círdan would speak about power like that. A guy who's witnessed and seen the rise and destruction of Morgoth, right? He experienced the whole thing. He understands the danger of that. I don't think he'd speak about power like that. I get what he's trying to get at to tell Elrond, but I don't think they got there in the way they should have.
And the fact that they keep sidelining the Valar, like, bothers me. Like, you had a perfectly good opportunity to mention Olmo or, like, acknowledge him. Like, you don't even need to say the name, but, like, you're in a boat over the water with an elf who's, like, as closely tied to Olmo as, like, you can be. This is a golden opportunity, guys. Like, especially with your whole Numenor storyline, like, really kicking into high gear of, like, the sea is always right. Yeah, well, there's a dude in the sea that you used to be on really good terms with, and I still am. Like, this is a great, like, you can synchronize your, like, 6 different weird storylines at moments like this of, like, the Numenorians don't know it all. They used to, but they have walked away from it. I still hear, like, voice, whatever. Do whatever you want with it, but you could have acknowledged it in some way. Or, like, if he's talking about power, be like, I have seen real power, and, like, he brushes his hand through the water and does the whole magic thing, implying it's not him, it's Olmo being like, yo, I got power. That's kind of my frustration with both of the seasons, is you routinely have options to, like, dive into the mysticism, to dive into the myth, to dive into, like, the capital M magic of Tolkien's world, and you don't.
You're creating new things.
You're almost scared of, like, well, we can't talk about gods in Tolkien. I was like, go read Tolkien. Like, there's prayer all over the place.
Yeah. And then we even have, Manwë's favorite, the birds.
Yeah.
Who show up, and this at this point is what really sold me on, okay, this is just Jacksonverse. Like, that's what this whole show is. They're in the Jacksonverse. They're not creating their own thing. I mean, they're creating their own things, but they're
with
doing
respect
it
to Peter Jackson.
Exactly. And that's what's like, okay, now I can set my mind. This is not supposed to be canon. This is truly fan fiction in the Peter Jackson verse. All right, let's go.
Although, I found it kind of funny how the eagle goes to the coronation, right, of Muriel, and it's like clearly looking at her, and then Farazan, it's Farazan, right? It's like, I mean, he walked up to the eagle. I don't think the eagle walked to him. It's like, that's not how that works. But again, the good part is you can see Farazan trying to corrupt things as he does well in the story with that. So I'm kind of mixed. I don't like how the eagle thing happened, but I do appreciate how they depicted Farazan. So
yeah.
Why don't the eagles talk? The eagles talk in the book.
Because it's the Peter Jackson verse.
Yeah, that's exactly why. Because you're making Peter Jackson fan fiction, not Tolkien fan fiction. And if you stop doing that, the show gets a lot better.
I was like, they're too far in it now.
Yeah, well, you can always, like, I've watched a lot of sci-fi and fantasy. You can always do a mid-series retcon.
It was just a dream.
They're actually all replicants.
That whole last season of Dallas didn't happen.
The last 10 seasons of Supernatural didn't. Oh, wait, nope, different podcast.
Yeah, we'll get there. Don't worry. That'll happen someday. Yeah.
Yeah, and what's up with the monster in the water? That's
a
Muriel
great question. What is up with that monster in the water?
Like,
is it
just because they needed a kraken?
Okay, so like Tolkien makes mention, like I don't even think he goes in any detail. I think he literally just mentions something like a sea dragon is out there. And that's it. That's all we know is there's that. Yeah. Where? I don't know.
Yeah.
What is it? I don't know.
I do have to, we got two properties in the past 5 years that have the Watcher in the water now, right?
Yeah.
We have both the War of the Rohirrim has the Watcher in it, and we have the Watcher in season 2 here. I think that's kind of cool to see that, hey, there is more than one creature that, or maybe it's the same creature. I'm not 100% sure, but I think just the bringing of that creature because it's a known creature is kind of cool. Having other creatures like the wereworms, and okay, we have wereworms, now we have to have were sea worms or whatever they want to be. You have so many other things that you could do.
Yeah. I mean, my personal headcanon will always be that the Watcher in the Water is one of the nameless things that lurk at the bottom of the world that got a lot higher. And that's it. Like, it doesn't need. Again, we're leaning into the mysticism. Yeah, you're leaning into the mysticism. You're leaning into the myth. There can just be weird, creepy, unexplainable things out there like that. It's a big ocean. I will accept that there's weird. There could be a second Watcher. That's fine. I'm not willing to fight on this. But just don't shoehorn something in just to say, "Hey, remember this?" Yes, I do. Thank you. That was a great scene. Don't ruin it.
All right. So. Any parting thoughts? I'll give you guys at least one last shot, good or bad, on Rings of Power.
All right, so I have to say, with how much they improved from season 1 to season 2, I am cautiously optimistic for season 3.
Beat me to it. I mean, same actually. Like, it doesn't. I would love it if it was that dramatic a jump from season 2 to 3 that it was from season 1 to 2. But really, if they just keep like kind of refining their own storytelling and their own respect for the source material, like season 3 could actually be pretty good. Like, there are several moments of season 2, much more so than season 1, where I'm like, you guys get it. Like, you're not just trying to copy Peter Jackson, although yeah, you are, knock it off. Like, you're starting to figure out, like, oh, that's probably what Tolkien meant. Like, oh, there's some real interesting stuff here. Yes, there is. That's why we've all been screaming at you for 2 seasons.
Well, and I think I if I remember, I heard somewhere that there are, because they don't have all the rights to the Silmarillion. This is only from the appendices. So, but they have asked for certain aspects of the Silmarillion that they could use that they've been granted permission for. So maybe
that's the way I understand it. Yeah, it's like they can't do. They don't just have access to the Silmarillion, but like as the series goes on, they keep saying, "Well, can we use this? Can we use this? Like isolated this, like not the whole story, just this element or this aspect or that." Which I'm actually fine with. Like, do that. That's fine. If you're not going to do a Silmarillion TV show, which, dear God, don't, not you guys, somebody else. Take elements from it, like mess around, like see what you can do with the pieces that have been left to you.
Yeah, so I mean, I know it was already said, I'm hopeful that this will go well in season 3, which is ironic because I wasn't a huge fan of season 1 when I first watched it, and a lot of people are well aware of that. But after seeing season 2, I'm hopeful. If they can improve a little bit, it'd be good. I'm curious about how they're going to do the timing and pacing of all this. That's my one concern, right? Like how they're going to do the pacing, because it seems like there's not a lot of material they can cover. There's a lot of material, but then it's not. Is it really, 3 seasons worth of material they can get through? So we'll see how they do it, but I'm hopeful.
All right, so sounds pretty cautiously, hopefully optimistical. So that's good. I like it. All right. Switch over to feedback. So we got some feedback from our episode on animals. So from Tammy, she said, dove right into the episode. Just paused to let you all know Molly left the room when Rob mentioned using animals for food, fuel, and clothing. Go, Rob. I love the idea about Thinking Fox being part of the quote unquote innocence of the Shire. He does seem like he'd fit right into the Hobbit, but always struck me as being a bit out of place in Fellowship. It's a great point, since the story gets more gritty and hard the further the hobbits venture from home. Like, I don't think we'd have met the fox in Gondor, but he fit in the Shire. Also, the idea that the descendants of Ungoliant on Shelob became diminished over time right down to the present moment made me laugh and think about Sam's description of stories and how we're still a part of the story. But that makes sense, thinking of the spiders in Mirkwood being smaller. I don't think Bilbo could have taken on a colony of spiders the size of Shelob. I don't think so either.
Well, I know it'll be in my nightmares tonight.
Yeah. Daniel Harrison on YouTube says, the question of how the dragons were made is interesting. If it is that the dragons are a debased form of something greater, I think Jimmy Akin has provided the answer in his Mysterious World episode 273 on flying snakes. According to an Egyptologist, the early Jews conceived the seraphim, serpents. No wonder angels used to say, "Be not afraid," which would indicate that the serpent in the Garden of Eden could be imagined as a seraphim who was stripped of his wings when he was condemned to crawl on his belly. So the super dragons would be 6-winged super snakes with bronze scales, probably fire-breathing, as seraph means burning one. On the other hand, it's possible that what Morgoth did was provide bodies for fallen spirits of fire, probably by breeding snakes and or dinosaurs. The winged steeds of the Nazgul were bred from winged dinosaurs, according to one of his letters. This would fit with something I heard from a Catholic historian, Thomas Madden. He identified the dragon slain by Saint Donatus of Ura as a possessed crocodile. That sounds terrifying.
I'd rather not.
Crocodiles. Okay, and we have
aren't
a little
all
bit
crocodiles
of feedback.
Possessed?
Well, yeah,
I think so.
Yes. We do have some feedback from our trivia episode. Oh goodness, Dan Foley's Pub. Yep, we're going
Dan
with that.
Foley's Pub. Okay.
Dan Foley's Pub, yeah.
That's fine.
Said, just finished the Levity First episode quiz show. It was very good, though I have a question on one of the questions. I believe Aragorn says, "We may meet again though all the hosts, ... to Aemir, not Faramir. Does this affect the final standings?"
No, it does not, because I still sucked.
And Tammy says, "Okay, I've just started this week's episode, and I've got to say I'm already over here with my hand in the air like Hermione Granger on the first 2 questions. This is awesome. I think y'all need to do Tolkien trivia regularly. This show was so much fun. We want more, please." I really should have Rob do that.
Yeah, we did talk about doing a trivia episode once a year, twice a year. So
apparently there's still a lot more of that book to get through.
Yes.
And I want to know what the wrong answer was.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cool to know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this episode of The Secrets of Middle-earth. We'd like to take a moment to thank all of our patrons who make this show possible, including Leo J., Michael F., Shiloh S., Michael P., and Glenn D. Their generous donations help us to continue to create The Secrets of Middle-earth and all the shows at StarQuest, and you can join them at GiveStarQuest.com. Be sure to follow The Secrets of Middle-earth in Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Music, Spotify, or any podcast directory or app. And you can find us on social media at Facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, or on X, where we are at SQPN, or on Instagram, where we are at StarQuest Network. Share us with your family, friends, and anyone you meet on the street. And don't forget that you can get your own official Secrets of Middle-earth merch, including our awesome t-shirt at sqpn.com/merch. It's a great way for you to support the show and show your love for Tolkien and his wonderful world of Middle-earth. Now we'd love to hear from you, our listeners. What do you think of our new panelists' take on Rings of Power? You can let us know on our Facebook page or on Twitter, or by sending an email to middleearth@sqpn.com, or by leaving us a comment on YouTube or Spotify, or being super awesome and visiting our channel on the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/discord. Thank you all for joining us today. I'm Patrick Mason. Thank you for joining me, Rob Leonardi.
Thank you, Patrick. The sun will soon rise above the shadow.
And thank you, Robert Story.
Yeah, I had a great quote, but I was busy racking my brain for that one, so it's gone.
And thank you for joining us for your very first podcast on SQPN, Father Bryan Shackett.
Glad to be here. The star did shine in the hour of our meeting.
Yes. And I'm Patrick Mason. Flames are still burning across my face. Thank you for listening to The Secrets of Middle-earth on StarQuest.
Here's another show on the StarQuest Network you're sure to enjoy, The Secrets of Television. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found, or at sqpn.com/TV.